You didn't forget to study. You chose not to. You didn't accidentally miss the deadline. You watched it approach and did nothing. That's not laziness. That's not weakness. That's your brain running a program it was trained to run, and it's running it perfectly. Here's what almost no one tells you. Self-sabotage isn't a character flaw. It's a survival strategy, when your brain built to protect you. And until you understand what it's actually protecting you from, every tip, trick, and productivity hack you try will fail. Let's get into the science. Most people define self-sabotage as procrastination, but that's like defining a fever as feeling hot. The fever is a symptom. The infection is something else entirely. Self-sabotage shows up as procrastination, yes, but also as imposter syndrome, self-handicapping, chronic underperformance right before a breakthrough, and sabotaging relationships the moment they get serious. Different behaviors, same root cause. Researcher Edward Jones coined the term self-handicapping in 1978 to describe a specific pattern. People deliberately place obstacles in their own path before a performance, not because they want to fail, but because a built-in excuse protects them from a verdict they're terrified of. Studies find this pattern in 60 to 80% of the general population. Up to 82% of high-achieving professionals report imposter syndrome. This isn't fringe behavior. This is how most human brains operate under pressure. The question is why? You've probably heard that the brain chases dopamine, that we're wired for reward. That's partially true, but it's the second priority, not the first. Neuroscientist Karl Friston's predictive processing framework, now one of the most influential models in cognitive science, proposes that the brain's primary job is prediction. Every moment, your brain is generating a model of what should happen next. When reality matches the model, you feel safe. When it doesn't, the brain registers that mismatch as a threat. That mismatch has a name: prediction error. Here's where it gets important. Your brain's model doesn't just track the physical world. It tracks your identity, your internal sense of how capable, worthy, and safe you are. That internal estimate is your baseline. When external reality drifts too far from your baseline, in either direction, your threat detection system, the amygdala, fires. Notice that, either direction, not just failure. Success can trigger it too. This is why some people collapse under pressure, and why others sabotage themselves right at the moment of a breakthrough. Both are the same alarm, just set at different thresholds. If your baseline is set high, I should be exceptional, then any real-world test is a threat. An exam, a performance review, a first draft. These might prove you're not as good as your baseline claims. So you prevent the data from being collected. You stay up all night before the presentation. You start the project at the last minute. If you fail, the handicap takes the blame. If you succeed, the high baseline is preserved. If your baseline is set low, I'm not good enough, I'm a fraud, then success is the threat. A promotion, a compliment, a good result, these contradict what your brain believes is true about you. So you shrink. You warn people you're overwhelmed. You downplay your work before anyone sees it. Two opposite baselines, two opposite triggers, one identical outcome. You stay exactly where your brain decided it's safe to be. When your amygdala fires a threat signal, it doesn't send a memo to your rational brain. It takes the wheel directly. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, judgment, and self-control, goes offline. Research by neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman shows that emotional arousal and cognitive control compete for the same neural resources. When one goes up, the other goes down.
There's a second layer. The right inferior frontal gyrus, a region critical for impulse inhibition, is supposed to act as a brake. But under chronic stress, that brake becomes unreliable. Studies using fMRI show reduced activation in this region during high-stakes decisions in people who report habitual avoidance behavior. This is why willpower alone doesn't solve the problem. You're not dealing with weak motivation. You're dealing with a hijacked nervous system trying to keep you alive, just from the wrong threats. The goal isn't to eliminate the alarm, it's to recalibrate what triggers it. Number 1. Label the emotion, don't fight it. Research by Matthew Lieberman, the same neuroscientist, found that simply naming an emotion in the moment reduces amygdala activation. Not suppressing it, not analyzing it, just writing, I notice I'm feeling dread. My body is tense. I'm having the thought that I'll fail. This is called affect labeling. It moves you from being inside the emotion to observing it. That small shift is enough to restore partial prefrontal function. Number 2, expose the prediction to reality. Run what cognitive behavioral therapists call a behavioral experiment. Form an explicit hypothesis. If I share unfinished work, people will think I'm incompetent. Then test it with low stakes. Send a rough draft to one trusted person. What actually happens is almost never what the fearful predictions said would happen. Over time, accurate data replaces distorted baseline assumptions. Number 3, change how you classify failure. When you treat a mistake as information, not as evidence of your worth, your brain stops categorizing it as a threat. No threat, no alarm. No alarm, no sabotage. Psychologists call this reattribution. It is one of the most replicated findings in CBT research. Your brain isn't broken. It built the best system it could with the information it had. The work now is giving it better information. One real test, one named emotion, one reframed mistake at a time. That's not a mindset shift. That's neuroscience, and it compounds.